patent job. You're not allowed to do that. Explode it all over me. This is paint, okay? You can't just booby trap your porch like that.
Man, we've talked about it. They're allowed to protect their property. You took the package and went off. That's on you.
All right, ma'am, let's go from the top.
I shouldn't even have to explain this.
And the blast happened when exactly?
When I opened the box, it exploded all over me.
And where did this box come from?
From right there, on that porch.
Ma'am, that means you stole it.
Oh, please, don't twist it.
You can watch, but you can't stop us.
Oh, they will. Ooh!
Oh, are you kidding me?
Didn't stop them.
In my mouth. This is a trap. No.
Hey, play that sound. Yo! Why my man look like a tall Smurf? Yo, they got that dude. Got him. What you gonna do? That's the only time he ran during the year. Ooh. All right, hold on. God dang. All right, so, all right, everybody. Welcome to Blacksmith Podcast. We figured we'd start something different over here today with some funniness. Listen, that to me, it'll probably get old, so I don't want to watch too many of those. But, oh, God, I got to stop laughing now. So, listen, one of the things we're actually going to talk about, remember, Saturday's financial topic, right? One of the things we're going to talk about is side hustles that don't work, that being one of them. That is not a side hustle you want to take up. We're going to talk about spending too much throughout the holidays in preparation for next year. Now, I know it's already like 12 months to go, 11 months to go, 10 months before the holidays start, right? But we're going to talk about not feeling the social pressures of having to spend your whole wallet and how much money people spent during the holidays. So there's a couple topics there. We're going to look at how much money you spent over the holidays. If you know in the chat, or if you can guesstimate, go ahead and throw it in the chat. If you want to share, you don't have to. No one's real names is here except, well, there's one. But if you want to share. If you don't care. Long hair, don't care. Yeah. So anyway, I'll tell you one thing I did throughout the holidays is I budgeted $1,000 to gifts and whatnot. But here's the thing: with my family, there's a birthday on December 13th. There's a birthday on December 29th. There's a birthday on January 14th, and then there's Christmas, right? So in a month's span, there's 3 birthdays and Christmas. So I think $1,000 makes sense, right? And there's 6 kids, a wife, a dog. So that might make sense for us, but if you're just a single person, maybe $1,000 doesn't make sense for you. I don't know. So if you want to share. If not, that's okay. So I'm gonna have some TikTok videos of people talking about how much money they spend on the holidays. And when you hear how much some of these people spent, you might be like, that will never get old. I almost hung up this call. Okay, so I guess without further ado, let's get into some of this. You love you some karma. Yeah, I love it too. Look, folks, we know the holidays are coming up every year. And the wrong thing to do, and I don't care if people say don't tell me about morality or whatever, I'm saying it. So if you don't like it, hang it up. Turn YouTube off. You don't need to watch it. But it's not even moral to steal somebody else's stuff, right? And it all stems from this guy right here, what Charlie Munger Warren Buffett's best buddy. He passed away 2 years ago, 99 years old. What he talks about, you cannot out earn stupidity. The crux of what he talks about and what we really need to hear about, know about, latch onto it, and love it is stop spending your money. Stop it. He talked about in a video 2 weeks ago that I played that the government is designed that way. They don't educate you on not spending your money. They educate you on the holidays and how you have to spend. And actually, you don't have to hear me talk, and we're not going to hear from him either. I got something else for you. This guy right here. I just found this, so.
You ain't gotta support no dumbass man-made
Okay,
holidays.
hold on. What?
Here we go. Gotta remind y'all every single year.
Here we go.
Christmas is a scam. This is literally the holiday that takes the most money away from you. It's literally the holiday that makes you the most depressed, the most bankrupt, the most broke. Do you understand that after Christmas, that's literally the biggest day of returns? Because people cannot afford the gifts that they're even giving people. They just want to get that moment of endorphins of saying, oh my God, you got to open something. Ah. And so the understanding, how about we take away Christmas? It's a dumbass holiday anyways. Plus it's man-made. And plus, literally, if you're looking at it, it's really paganism. If you really, in the Bible like that, you'll find out that we know they're supposed to be decorating under the tree like the heathens or whatever. Read the Bible for yourself. Let's talk about just the financial aspect of it right now. People are spending so much money on holidays, don't even understand what they're doing. You spend money on Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, Valentine's Day. Look at all these holidays that hit us back to back. You're spending at least $5,000 to $10,000 a year on holidays alone and wondering why you broke. Wondering why you can't get by. Not even understanding that Christmas comes up every single year. Why? Because it's profitable. Start a business. If you start a business, every day can be damn Christmas. You can give gifts every day to the people who you love the most, and you don't never got to worry about taking it back. Deal with your boy, all right? Give yourself, start a business so every day can be December 25th. And you ain't got to support no dumbass man-made holidays that we wasn't supposed to celebrate in the first place, because it's not Jesus' birthday. It's not nothing about that, so you can't even miss me with that. Read your Bible and actually understand what December 25th actually meant for real. Look, at the end of the day, I know we're going to make our own decisions, but I really want the best for y'all, and I'm tired of seeing y'all struggle every single year and don't know why you're struggling. It's because of these stupid-ass holidays. Don't celebrate Christmas. It's a scam. Here we go.
All right, so listen. I guess you could say he kept it real, so to speak. Oh, hold. Let's hear from the chat. The chat is undefeated. You already know. Christmas was invented and populated by Coca-Cola, a promotion to pick up sales during the winter. Yeah, I believe that. And somebody said, now I haven't actually debunked this one or not, but somebody said that Santa Claus was actually green in the beginning, and because of Coca-Cola to match their colors, they made it red. Now this proceeds anybody on this live, precedes anybody on this live. So I don't know, but I haven't even looked it up. So it's not like just because we weren't alive, we couldn't know. I just didn't look it up. Jesus was born in June. Look here. I don't know when Jesus was born. I just know it is said it wasn't on Christmas. And listen, you can celebrate the birth, the death, the resurrection of Jesus anytime you get ready to. If you want to see that, there's Passion of the Christ that for Easter, right? And they usually have that bumping around that time. You have the Bible, the best-selling book of all time, right? And probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest, because it's supposed to be a book about time, right? So whenever they start or history of the world encompassing in that, and not to get too spiritual about this, but he mentioned it, right? I don't listen. In America, Jesus has nothing to do with it, and that's what he's saying. That is not what we care about. Let's be real. When you are going in there with these, look, I'm gonna flash something. This ain't a flex, but I'm gonna flash it because y'all notice the MVP of my portfolio. It's just a free license to go beep or beep or beep. It's just a free license to swipe credit cards and buy stuff and have a guilt-free pass. You talk about a hall pass, right, in a relationship. Well, this is a financial hall pass. Every single year it comes up, every single year, and it's just a license to spend your hard-earned money, and it makes no sense. Why would you do that, right? So if you really think about it, right? Some of these people, some of these people are not even earning the average income. Let's see what the average income is. I want to know. Inquiring minds, right? You want me to pull that up, chat? I will if you say yes. Sure. Okay. Yes. Cool. All right. We're gonna look at the average income. All right. It's saying about 67,000. That's the median. All right. So, all right. I'm going for it. I got it. Let's see what you got. Okay. Let's pull this up.
Say 125 years ago, Coca-Cola was doing the math on its sales. They noticed something. People bought Coca-Cola in the summer, a little bit in the fall, a little bit in spring, not in the winter. People didn't think of it as a winter drink. So what the Coca-Cola advertisers did was they found a saint who was about to be decanonized, Santa Claus. They grabbed him, they merged him with the story of Saint Nick, and the inspiration was to merge him with Kris Kringle. Kris Kringle was a Danish thief whose job in the day was a chimney sweep. He could pop his shoulders out and he could fit down a chimney. He would rob your house and then work his way back up, but you'd have a clean chimney. They stuck him in Coca-Cola colors, so they made him an old man so he could have white hair, and then they stuck him on the bottle. That's why periodically you'll see Santa Claus on a Coca-Cola bottle, on a Coca-Cola can.
Well, all right. Thank you for that, good sir. And there you have it. That's not the video I saw. I don't know where I even heard it, but you know what? You heard it here first. The chat is undefeated. Let's get it. But okay, that is concerning. Yes, the chat is undefeated. It's very concerning. But listen, if you love America, awesome. But you don't have to like everything about the country you live in. And it actually shows that you care. You don't have to agree with everything. My brother and I were talking this morning, and we were talking about something. I can't remember what it was, but he's here in the chat. If you remember what it is, just in the subject, I'm sure it was appropriate. But if you can remember the subject, just put it in the chat. But we were talking about something this morning, and I said, that's to be expected because we live in a capitalistic society. I know what it was. I was telling two of my boys, they're 5 and 6. So I said, look, watch something age appropriate. Don't watch Coco Melon that's for like infants and stuff like that. Watch something like the Robot Wars y'all were just watching so you can learn something, because those are engineers that are building stuff and they're fighting axes and flipping up stuff to the ceiling. And they had it on when I came in. So I was like, watch something, where you can learn something, or at least something that's age appropriate, right? Because sometimes they'll throw on something that's just as kiddie or infanty as Coco Melon. And anyway, he heard it and he said, hey, and if you've got the video, I'll play that if you want. But it was, I don't know if she was a researcher or somebody, but she was talking about, they actually did science behind Coco Melon. And the point of Coco Melon was to hit the kids with so many different colors, and the scenes only last for like 2 or 3 seconds. And then boom, you hit another scene and something else and something else and something else. And the point was to stimulate the child so much to where they would not look away from it. And yeah, well, fair enough. So it ain't for me. So I've seen clips and stuff from it before, and I can't sit there and watch that stuff. So the point was to keep the kids stimulated, right? And they were saying, I think it was a lady, she was saying that some of these, this autism and some of this other stuff, the kid is not autistic. The kid has been so stimulated when they were an infant to where now they're in a world where if you're not plugged into the matrix, right? If your flat screen TV that is really a supercomputer that's capable of making phone calls is on the desk like this, there's no stimulation. If the TV is off, if you're not on the computer doing something, if there's nothing playing in the headphones, which there isn't. I just don't want the sound of the phone to ring off, but I want to know when I get a notification. You're not being stimulated. And that's the problem, is that they overstimulate the babies. And then when they're not stimulated to that level, they can't function in class. So you see, I've never seen this many, and it could just be diagnosis. The diagnosis is at the level it should be, but I think it's probably overdiagnosed. I see so many little kids or teenagers now with the over the head headphones just walking around, and they do that just to function. You're shopping at Costco, something's in the ear. You're walking around in the park, something's in the ear. You're at the gym. I think that one kind of makes sense, but what I see is that, like, and I do this too. If I see somebody I know, I'll be like, "Yo, what up, Alex? Hey, what's going on, Bernard? Hey, what's going on, Will?" There is another Will I know at the gym, or Xavier, because he's there, right? Lifting planets too. And him and this other guy, they're built like freaking Greek mythology, but they ain't no myth. They're real. They built like the Titans, Atlas be holding up the earth. Y'all saw my ball spot. So get what I'm saying, right? The whole Coco Melon thing, you said that shows creepy or something like that, but that was devised that way. We were talking about that, and I said, well, what do you expect? It's a capitalistic society, which to me, in layman's terms, says money first, business first, red line first, or green line, whatever they call it, black line, red line, whatever. Worry about the dollar, worry about the profit before you worry about the people. That's why we know high fructose corn syrup is in everything. We over sugarify everything. If you go overseas to the Philippines, to Japan, to Europe, I know Japan isn't Europe because it's Eurasia, it's one whole continent, but then they spliced it Europe and Asia. You get what I'm saying? If you go overseas, right, you go international, you're gonna try, like I tried hot chocolate one time. It was Dubai. I was in the Mall of Dubai, and I went to this bookstore. This was what? When did we hit Dubai? December of 13. That was my first time there. I got a hot chocolate. I took the first sip. First of all, I burnt the heck out of my tongue. I didn't think about, oh, this is hot. But I'll never forget, it was bitter. It was so bitter, I didn't want to drink the rest. I drank like a 25%, a third of it, and I threw it away. And Dubai. I've been there. Yeah. But hey, the chat's undefeated. Y'all see that, right? The dollar sign? Negative. It was just a hot chocolate. Not me. Frugality is the way I be. Bars. I'm just kidding. But it was bitter. And I learned on that deployment, this is not America. And I learned that first in the Philippines because I went to Wendy's. I'm going to tell y'all some real fat stuff for me right now. I was probably $185, 185, something like that. Probably 20 pounds lighter than I am now. I was still getting my fitness in order and whatnot. But I could run, I could lift, all that stuff, right? I went to Wendy's with my Liberty buddies. Two guys, Eric and Joseph. And of course, what do? I couldn't just have a spicy chicken sandwich with fries and a drink. What size you think I ordered? I'm gonna let that marinate. But I went to the table once it came. I went to the table and I looked at it and I'm like, this ain't. No, I did not order no small size. Stop it. We gonna keep it all the way real. I ordered a large, right? So I get to the table and the fry thing is like that big, right? It's probably like that tall. I'm not playing. Never forget this, right? The burger is not like what we're used to, like that big around. The burger's like that big around, right? And the drink is probably like this tall. If I can remember that cup, probably about this tall. Now we know in America, a large is like that, right? Um, so I took it back up there and I was like, "Oh, excuse me, I ordered a large." And she's looking like, "Okay." And now she's doing her head's doing the bob and weave, like, "What's going on?" Like, she's looking me up and down, like there's a problem because I came back to the counter, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I just a large," and she's like, she like takes the burger, she like lifts it, and she's like looking, and she's like the fries and and I'm like, "No, no, it was just supposed to be a large." And then I looked at her, and she was a small human being, and I looked at the gal next to her taking orders. She's also small, and the wheels start turning. I'm like, "Oh my God." I look in the back. They're like not, I'm 5'10" in darker skin, 5'10" darker skin. They are not 5'10. They're nowhere close. And I looked, something just made me look around Wendy's, and I didn't see any size tray of food that I recognized. And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "No, no, 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 no problem." I figured it out right then and there. I was like, "No problem." She's like, but she called the manager over. So now it's too late. And I'm like, "No, no, no problem, no problem, no problem. I'm good. I'm good." And they're like, "You sure?" And they're trying to, they're like just doing all of this stuff. I made them so antsy, right? I felt, if I could have blushed, I would have. My face felt hot. I don't know if that works. But if I could have blushed, I probably would have. I went back to that table with the quickness and I sat down. I didn't even want to tell them what happened. And they were like, "What happened, dude?" Like they all excited up there. And I told them, and they're like, "Dumbass. This is the Philippines. Like that is large." And I was like, ugh. But you see what I mean? Like in a capitalistic society, we worry about, everything has to be huge, everything has to have sugar. um we eat too much, we eat too many calories, we eat chemicals that's not good for us because it sells whatever we need to sell. Here in California, it's like prop 99 or prop something on everything, prop 60 or something. This may have an cancer causing agent in it or whatever. And so I'm like, all right, that's what we worry about. So you cannot. The food quality was different. Actually, chat being undefeated. Let me get to some of this. Yeah, it was Dubai, small size. No, I didn't. And yeah, the food quality was different. And that's the thing, right? My wife has a good friend. She just told me like 3 weeks ago she's back in America, but her and her husband were in Germany for at least 2, maybe 3 years. And he's in the Marines, and I think he's a sergeant major or something. Yeah, he's a sergeant major or a master gunnery sergeant. He's E9. But they were overseas for a couple years, and I tell you, as soon as they got there, she said, "Hey," she called her and she said the pizza's different. Um, they don't go shopping for a whole 2 weeks. You'll see them at the grocery store every 2 to 3 days, and they have one bag of groceries. There's no preservatives allowed in the country. Y'all hear me? Look at my brown eyes. There's no preservatives allowed in the country. So if it has a shelf life ordinarily of 2 or 3 days, you better use it. You better eat it, spread it on bread, whatever it is, you better use it because it's going to go bad. And so it's a total different kind of, it's a wake up call. It's a culture shock when you go over there. Let's see some more people stealing packages on these side hustles that don't work. This looks funny. Why?
Come on now.
What? Why? Why? Yeah, uh-huh, got him. Oh yeah, come on. Really? Look, that proves to you it doesn't matter white, black, Mexican, fit, fine, has no it does not matter. If and you know what? Here's the problem with this. Now the problem is the people's character, right? I know that. But one of the things that has people doing this stupid thing is the pressure from the holidays, what this second guy was talking about, right? Why do you feel, and that's why we have to talk about it, right? Self awareness. Have the self awareness to understand that we all feel the pressure from the holidays because it is baked into us. If you are born in America, you're raised in America, or been in America the majority of your life, even if you weren't born or raised here, you feel the pressure of American society to spend all your hard earned money during this one season. And it makes no sense. So, let's watch the end of it before I go too far, because this is just hilarious. It knocked her over. Oh, she mad. She's mad. She's mad. What, are you kidding me? She didn't what the when she bent down to pick it up, but she's mad. What are you mad for? All right, here goes 21 Savage. My man got the rainbow. Oh man. All right, listen. And you know what's crazy is that we gotta see this. What is this?
Oh, hold it right there.
Ooh!
That's for the naughty list.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Target acquired, secured package.
Merry Christmas.
off my. Whoa, hey!
Oh,
Oh, hold it right there.
hold it right there. Got him. Listen, that's a side hustle if you want it to be, and you might even get away with it, right? That's funny. Do you see the Santa Claus that's automated? Oh, wow. He just reacted too slowly. Anyway. Oh, come on. I'm blue. Abadi, abadi.
Possible you did this to me! How could you put a paint bomb in a stupid package? I could have been hurt! I want him in prison! He's a criminal! He could have seriously...
You ever do something like this again and you'll be facing my lawyer, I promise you that. I should be calling the police.
He's the criminal. He's the criminal. And then Grandpa comes to take up for come on now.
Find out what you did to him. Look at him. Look what you did. Humiliating. You think this is funny? I swear you're going to regret it.
For what you did to my husband. This is not going to stay like this. You don't know who I am. The police is going to get you. You hear me?
Honey, please, let's just go. It's already
No,
bad
don't
enough.
you stop.
Okay, so you know who wears the pants over here. He did wrong. She was probably the getaway driver. And when it exploded, how do you think that they're in the wrong for putting a paint bomb in? I might just do that next year. I live in a pretty safe neighborhood, I like to think, but I just want to look at the comments. People are so stupid. They are stealing, but they're complaining. The audacity of these people. Let's watch the end of it.
Yeah, you're welcome to report whatever you want. The camera recorded everything. Your husband tried to steal a package.
I just wanted pretty things. Why did you have to do this to me? It doesn't cost you anything if you lose a package. You clearly have money.
Are you serious?
You clearly have money. I bet she has money too. That's the problem. And look, put the camera on me. Here we go. Look, and this is exactly what Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, all these people are talking about. And we can say, well, they're rich, they're billionaires. Well, sure, but I'm not. And anybody who knows me in real life, you know me. I'm not. I'm not the guy who gets on the camera. So I was here in my garage. Oh, yeah, there's just a Lamborghini sitting there. And, I do all this real estate and I go outside and everybody's partying. I'm not that guy. I don't know that dude's name. He looks like a Hispanic dude, glasses. That ain't me. That's not me. In fact, you see my forge. You see my studio right here. I'm as real as they come. 5'10", darker skin. 210. No, I'm just kidding. I'm less than that now. I'm about 200. I just bars. You know what I mean? But anyway, she has money throughout the year. And the problem is it's what she's spending it on. This is exactly the football analogy I made a couple months ago, right? We tell everybody, we teach everybody to play offense, get a job, earn money, but we don't teach them defense, which is what we're teaching today. Tackle that bad decision. Stop your money from going out of your hand on stupid stuff, on liabilities. Jordans. I did a video about that. It said the average pair of Jordans is $200. But if you'd have put it in a Robinhood in 2022, when it was $7.19, you'd have bought yourself about 28 shares. And then this year, in 2025, when it reached upwards of 100 and something, I don't remember, there was over $100 in equity per share. So multiply that out, and that's $2,800. Now, I said the next time you look in your closet, right? Remember, and you see 10 pairs of Jordans, that's not 10 pairs of Jordans. That's a missed opportunity to have made $28,000 in net worth, right? In wealth. And so we have to play defense. So she has money too, I guarantee you. And I'm going to get to the calculator after we watch the rest of the video. But yeah, the audacity of these people, she has money too, is whatever she's spending it on. And she's trying to legitimize what she's doing, thinking that she's putting logic into it. You obviously have money. She's saying you have more money than me and your package is insured. So if I stole it, they'll pay for it. It's not on you. You shouldn't have done this to me. And that's what this society and spend money during the season. It makes people crazy. Now, obviously, you can still have good morals, ethics, logic, morality, character, right? They don't. So there's the big difference. Let's watch the rest.
It's right now. It was a package that probably didn't even have anything expensive inside.
You play for
You
Duke?
could have hurt my soul with that stupid trap. What, you broke or something?
Play for North Carolina?
Go right now. Look what your little trap did to my boy. He wasn't doing anything wrong, and now he's covered in this blue mess.
She looked like she got popped by the purple one.
Hey, you could have hurt my son.
Swamp
Are
Thing.
you insane? I swear this won't end here. All of this over a stupid box. What's wrong?
Now look, the kid is embarrassed. The kid is like not trying to show his face. And you got Post Malone here, Swamp Thing, out here with this green on his face. And the kid's just embarrassed. You could have hurt my kid. No, it clearly the kid didn't touch it. You know, daddy's going to jail, not the kid.
Are you broke or something?
It's not possible.
He asked them, are they broke? Isn't this crazy? All right, let's get this. This is crazy. Look, folks, chat, y'all got anything? If you do, just throw it in there. But listen, it says the average salary is $67,500. Let's tax that. Let's see. Let's see. What is the net income on $67,500? And it's just going to take an average because we're going to do some math. Y'all know I love my math. That's gross. Okay, so about 55,000. Now, we're not using California for that. Probably not using New York for that. Who's another one? I'll just stay with those two. New York, California. Yeah, see, look, if you're in California, it would decrease to 50,000. I didn't see that at the bottom. But you know what? I wanted to use 50,000. Whatever. We'll use 55. So let's go to the calculator, shall we? X that out. All right. So let's just say this all starts with planning, right? Failure to plan is planning to fail. We all know this, right? Age-old trope or saying, them that are they, made it up, but it's quite true, right? Now, here's one of the things. Most people, where it all starts, most people don't have a budget. So then most people don't have a spending plan. And you could say it's one in the same, but not really. You can't have a spending plan without a budget. Only you can. Yes, that was contradictory. Here's the thing. Most people have a plan to spend their money, but never have budgeted what they're going to spend so they know if they're going broke or not. Does that make sense? So how you're supposed to do it, you're supposed to have a budget and then the spending plan, right? And if you're smarter than that person, you would have a budget, a savings slash investment plan, then a spending plan. And that is what Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger these last 2 weeks have been saying to you, is that you have to plan to save and invest your money first, right? So if a person brings home 55K, this is gonna be really simple. I'm not even gonna hold this out. And let's say all of their bills and stuff, 40 grand. Would you say that person's broke? Chat, help me out. Would you say that person's broke? Y'all tell me. I did this already in a previous video, and yep, that's the same numbers. Y'all would say, how much do they make versus what goes out? So they make 67,000. Hold on, stop. They make 67,000. All right, hold it. They gross 67.5. They net 55K. 40K in bills or expenses. So they have 15 left over. Would you say they're broke? Yeah, they need to downsize. Yeah, I know that's what you meant. They need to downsize. Yep, got it. And you see that? You see that? The chat is saying, yeah, they spend too much. They have too much. Their expenses are too high because out of $55,000, they only have, look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. Out of 55,000, they only have 15,000 left. They need to downsize, right? Because that's getting dangerous. Now, what do y'all think a good amount of money out of 55,000 netted would be at the end of the year? Chat, y'all tell me. This is opinionated, right? This is subjective. Now, while y'all do that, let me show you something that's objective. And I've cleared this too with creditors and stuff, right? A debt to income, DTI, if y'all didn't know what that was, debt to income ratio over 43 to 50% signals you're potentially broke or struggling. Do y'all see that? See, he said less than 50. Chat's undefeated, but I only want 30. You're darn straight. And if I'm going to get there one day and kaput, you ain't going to see no spinning. I'm going to be Scrooge McDuck chasing quarters, pennies, and dimes rolling down the street. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. But you don't have to do that. Scrooge McDuck didn't have to do that. And that's what made him greedy, right? Because he had a vault full of money that he went swimming in. Now, obviously, we know you jump into a pile of coins head first like that, you going out on the stretcher with them squeezing the bag. You're going to rupture a spleen. You're going to crack an L or T6 or whatever your vertebrae are called. You're going out. But he went right on in it like it was just water. But just get what I'm saying. He didn't have to do that because he didn't spend his money. And that was kind of the point, but they wanted to show that if you had money like that, you were greedy. But if you really read between the lines, Scrooge McDuck was as frugal as they came. And notice he was wealthy. Notice Glomgold, his opponent, he was frugal too. And he was wealthy. He had a vault. He had a vault. And they were always battling who had more money. They were always battling. If you go back and watch that cartoon, it actually taught you a lot about money because they were battling for construction contracts on buildings and new apartment sites and stuff like that. But I didn't pay. I saw it when I was little, but I didn't know everything I knew now. But that's what they were doing. The wealthy compete, but they don't spend. They don't compete by spending their money on stupid stuff. It's us that sees the Bentley and we gotta have it. You see all these gold digger videos in the last 5 years that went nuts where a dude tries to holler at a chick and all he does is, hey, good morning. No, I've got a boyfriend. And he's, okay. And then he auto starts the car and starts walking towards it. And then as he grabs the handle. Here she comes running. Wait, this is your car? Yeah, this is my car. Oh, I was just wondering. Hi, my name is Heather, and sorry, Heathers, I just threw your name out there. Sorry. You just take one for the team. Hi, my name is Heather, and yeah, I would like to get to know you, but you have a boyfriend. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Oh no, I mean we're just talking, and so that's why all that stuff goes crazy like that, because people are just so money hungry. It's us that wants the Lambo. It's us that wants the Bugatti. It's us that wants that stuff. Now, yes, Jay Leno has a car collection of like 200, but that's his thing. That's his guilty pleasure. And he also monetizes that because people can come to pay to see his car collection. He's on TV showing his car collection on YouTube and episodes of things, and I'm sure they pay him for it, right? Who's monetized? How did you monetize your 50 pair of Jordans? Who cares to see that? Not many, right? And so that's stars versus regular people. Anyway, so this is saying if you have a DTI of 43 to 50%, you're potentially broke already. So what does that mean? Now, people could, if you are kicking and screaming against what I'm saying right now, you're part of the problem, right? 15,000 is a great amount to be able to save. And well, let's look at what your bills are going out on. So if it's a BMW in your driveway, that's one strike. If you have a shoe closet that's filled with newer shoes, I would say within the last 2 years, that's 2 strikes. If you got, I don't know, I would have to look at credit card statements and stuff like that. But if you're spending your money on clothes, shoes, if Amazon packages are coming to the house every other day, that's 3 strikes. You're out. And if you're only saving 15,000, just imagine if you weren't doing that stuff, it might look more like this. Okay, that's one too many. Hold on. More like that. Right? Why be 15,000 if you could have 25,000? Why? I'll tell you why, because people are chasing endorphins of spending rather than chasing discipline and having consistency in that discipline and making that 15 into 25,000. And here's the thing. Watch this. They didn't hit the lottery. They didn't, grandma, nene, them, they didn't give them money. They didn't find it in a suitcase. They were already earning it. They just didn't spend it. See, you don't look to hit the lottery. You don't need so bad to hit the lottery if you just hold on to what you're already making. I know it sounds simple, doesn't it? It is simple. We make it difficult because we don't understand that we are being hyper programmed every single day. Listen, folks, let's go throughout the year really quickly, right? We started on January 1st. Don't move from there. Don't go to President's Day. Start right here, January 1st. What gets sold the most in January or in December in preparation for January? Do y'all know? There's a couple of things, right? But I'll tell you, chat, y'all aren't writing, are you? Nope. All right, cool. So gym memberships, gloves, workout gloves, workout gear, right? Okay, cars. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. So gym memberships, workout gear, supplements, galore, and weight loss pills and drugs and all that kind of stuff. This one for sure. Every single season. Now, Christmas, I would say, yeah, the cars. Now, we'll skip MLK Day because that one I don't think is made into a spending day. If I'm wrong, chat, y'all correct me. Now let's move to Valentine's Day, right? Valentine's Day, we already know it's spending. And is it made about the guy? No, but I could have sworn they're a couple, right? But we don't like couples in America. We like them split. We like her against him, him against her, because that's 2 employees. If they come together and make a household and they learn this stuff, then they can survive on 1 income. That's one less employee I have out in the world. That's one less vote. That's the number two thing. That's one less vote I have for my political party because they're going to vote all together. But if I keep them separated, I get double the votes, double the employees, double the spending in the economy. There's double the vehicles, so they spent on that too, and double taxes. Think about it, folks. Just think about it. This ain't a conspiracy show, but just think about it. So Valentine's Day, and it's all about her, and it's all about what you can buy her. It's not, you already pay for Netflix. Find a good show. There was one Heart Eyes that I saw. Wow, that seems like so long ago. But it was called Heart Eyes, and it came out on Valentine's, I think. Maybe it wasn't. But Heart Eyes. My wife and I just watched that. And you know what? We didn't do no crazy spending. If you are boot up all the time, Valentine's is just another day. There's no need for us to go out and do all this crazy stuff now. Flowers, cards, sure. But there's no need to go get in line for a 5-star restaurant, you know? All that kind of stuff. So we got Valentine's. Now we go to President's Day, which I think is after that. I think it's the 19th, right? So now what do they talk about? Buying cars, right? Chad already said it. Buying cars. Let's move through March. Did I miss anything? If I missed something, y'all tell me now. March to April, because Easter can be in March. And it has been in the last couple of years, once or twice. Easter. Now, Easter originally was supposed to be for the resurrection of Jesus Christ. We don't even talk about that no more. We got chocolate bunnies bouncing across the screen and dropping eggs. We make it about boiled eggs, so egg sales goes up. So that helps the agricultural or farming industry, right? Hershey's goes flying through the roof, right? It's chocolate everywhere. It's bunnies everywhere. And it's just another opportunity to spend money. And they make that one about the kids, because you cannot tell people not to spend money on their kids. They'll go insane in the membrane. Now we go to April. You have April 1st. I don't know. They don't really spend money on April Fool's Day. I'm a chief in the Navy, so Navy Chief, Navy Pride. The chief's birthday is also April 1st. So now I'm trying to think. April. Maybe I'm missing something. I saw something flick up in the chat really quickly. Used to have to get new outfits to go to church too. That's right. You can see my arm. It's in the air. That's right. New outfits. So dresses, suits, ties, all that church apparel. That is right. People who are not even religious, don't even practice Christianity, Catholicism, or what have you, the one time a year they will go to church, it would be Easter. And they will buy something and dress to the nines. You're exactly right. I said if I forget it, that's why the chat's undefeated, right? So now we're dressing to the nines for one day, and you're not going to wear that suit again that year. Maybe not even ever again. You might get a new suit every year, right? The kids are your kids are small. You buy them the perfect little $300 dress or the perfect little $400 tuxedo. Well, girls more expensive, $200, $150 tuxedo for your little man. And that's the only year he can ever wear that. Now what do? You give it away to Salvation Army, donate it or I forget the other one, Salvation Army or Goodwill, or you save it for your kid or whatever. I don't know, but you spent money for no reason. Now let's go through, I don't think April, 420, let's be real, weed sales go through the roof. Moving on. May, you have Mother's Day. And again, she wants the best. She deserves the very best. So what? And they open the door and there's a brand new Mercedes with a bow tie on it, a G-Wagon. But you make $67,000 a year and you only net 55. That commercial is not for you. But we're not going to say that because there's a lender somewhere who'll give you the loan and mama will be pleased. And that's how they get you, man. You don't realize, you don't say for me or not for me, right? G-Wagon money is not 67,000, but there are people that earn that bit of money, that amount of money. It's average, so I can't say little, right? There are people that earn that average earning, don't bring that home. They gross, not net, and they will still have a G-Wagon or something like that in the driveway. And you can't make sense of it. You literally can't make any sense of it. How did you come up with this? Because they talked me into it, and they couldn't even tell you. They're embarrassed about it themselves, and they would never show you their finances, not because, oh, that's just my business. Warren Buffett will show you his financials if you ask him, right? He'll show you what he's not spending. He's not embarrassed. You know what it is? It's not because he's a billionaire, because somebody earning 200 grand a year could be just as broke as this person and only bringing home 15,000 after everything is paid. And they're more broke than this person. And they earn more than this person. They out earn this person like 4 times almost, right? And they're more broke. They're more broke. So don't think it's a dollar amount. It's really not. Anyway, so just think about that. Not spending your money on dumb stuff. Now, the guy in this video said business, start a business. Let me tell y'all something. Business is not for everybody, right? Everybody's not going to start a business. Not everybody should even start a business, because I tell my brothers this. I tell people in my circle this. There's 3 different kinds of guys out there, right? There's the architect who sits up here in the air-conditioned building. He's the dreamer. He's the guy that takes an idea, he puts it on paper, he draws the blueprints, and he then he makes it make sense in his mind, and then he says, all right, this is it. The dimensions work and all of that. Now he hands the paper to the foreman. The foreman is a past construction worker who was a master of his craft on all of these different things that we'll get into in a second. And he has moved up in the leadership, and now he leads construction workers, the hands-on guys, but he has learned to speak construction worker and conjugate those verbs and then disseminate that information to the architect. He has also learned to hear architect, conjugate all of that, and then be able to speak to the construction workers downstairs at the bottom floor. Not that they're beneath this guy, but literally they are. But I'm just saying they're on the floor level, the ground level building stuff, right? Look in the camera, me, right? So you have the architect in the building, you have the foreman on the ground level going up and down in between, and he's your leader of these guys. And it's these guys that's actually going to accomplish this guy's dream, this guy's vision, right? This guy doesn't make that vision happen without these guys. But the most important component is this guy, the foreman, right? Now let's get to the construction workers. The construction workers are the ones that are masters of their craft on demolition. So dynamite, sledgehammers, backhoes, and bulldozers, wrecking balls. They tear stuff down, right? They're also masters of their craft and building. So if it's a skyscraper, and I don't know if most of y'all knew this, but I'm from New York, so I found this out. But if they're going to build a skyscraper, they first have to measure how high the building's going to go. And then they have to measure the normal winds aloft. And they have to measure they have to look at the materials that you're going to use for the building, right? Sturdy materials versus not sturdy materials, which why would you build a skyscraper with not sturdy materials? But they're sturdier materials. So there's steel and then there's titanium. Get what I'm saying, right? They have to measure the average building sway that this building is going to get. And they have to measure that because can these materials take that sway, or will this building topple down? And buildings like, I see that. I'm going to come to it in just a second. In Chicago, New York, San Diego, cities like that where you have Seattle. I mean, I could keep going, but cities where you have tons of skyscrapers jam packed in like that, some of that building sway gets reduced because there are other buildings in the way blocking the wind. But some of the first buildings to go up, you better believe they had to measure that. And what a construction worker told me is that, hey, did you know this? We actually have to tunnel like down into the earth a certain amount. Like, let's say for every 10 stories, we have to go a half a mile into the earth with our foundation for that skyscraper, or it will collapse. I was like, what? DMX. I didn't know that was a thing. Now, I just flirted with the half a mile, but just get what I'm saying. For every X amount that they need up here, they have to go X amount down here, because remember, it all starts with the foundation. Let me read this chat really quickly. My dad was a construction worker, then made it to the foreman in New York. See what I'm saying? See? So, and that's what I mean. So one of the things, that's a soft skill, folks. I've been saying this, right? Leadership is a soft skill, and it will break you out and make you get promoted into a leader. Weird. It's just, we've been saying this. Let me, before we close this out, chat, go ahead and get closing thoughts if you have any. I want to play just a few minutes of this video here because he talks about some of this stuff.
Let me start with something
Charlie
that
Munger.
will make you uncomfortable. If you're keeping most of your money in a bank account, waiting for the right time to invest, you're not playing it safe. You're choosing a guaranteed loss. And I can prove it with simple arithmetic that a high school student should understand.
Woo.
But somehow, very smart people miss this constantly. Here's the math nobody wants to face. If inflation runs at 3% annually and your savings account pays 0.5%, you're losing 2.5% of your purchasing power every single year. That's not a risk, that's a certainty.
All right, stop right there. Mic drop, no more. We'll do this one next week, but he is right. And I tell y'all this all the time. You are losing buying power on your money. So that person that brings in 15,000, they're like, oh, well, I save it all. So, okay, great. You save it all. But that 15,000, let's do some arithmetic. What did he say? A high school student should be able to understand. Let's zero that out. Where's the reset? I guess that's it. All right. So let me see. If I bring this calculator up, can y'all see this? Yes, you can. Cool. All right. So 15,000. It's not typing. Come on. 15,000 times 0.03 is 450. So let's say you brought in $15,000 for 10 years, and now you have 150 G's. Multiply this by 10, actually, and then so you actually have $145,500 in buying power. That's what that would mean. And you can, well, he said 2.5, but inflation, I'm just saying, if it's under your mattress, in your mattress, a hole in the wall, shoe box, I'm just using the whole 3% just so y'all can understand. That doesn't say that you don't have $150,000. You do on paper, but you only have $145,500 worth of buying power. And here's the kicker. You need the whole 150 to equal the $145,500 of buying power. That's the kicker. And that's what he's talking about. That's what we're going to deal with next week. Have any of you taken an arithmetic class anyway? Let's see. See, this was up from last week. I looked this up last week. Let me see. Is it ME? Arithmetic. Meaning, the average of a set of numerical values calculated by adding them together and dividing by the number in terms of a set. Yeah, they do that in math. They do that in math. That's basic math classes. I think when you get into division, multiplication, You'll do arithmetic by that definition, yes. But yeah, he basically said a high school student could understand it, but here's the problem, and this is the last point I'll make, and then we'll go ahead and close out. I'll probably close out with another TikTok video because that stuff is hilarious. Do not make this your side hustle. Uh-oh. Before we go, what are your thoughts on SoundHound decreasing by 50%? Okay, so SoundHound decreasing by 50%. All right, let me see. Where we at? I normally have it on this one, so I don't have to do all that craziness. So let's pull this up. Probably shouldn't show that, but all right, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm actually gonna log in really quickly and we'll talk about it. We will talk about it. Yeah, recent. Oh, just open the app. Here we go. Hold on. So I'm gonna tell you right now. Yes, it's me. Here we go. Hey, I love this with Robinhood. They make sure it's you, or they don't let you in. All right, now let's bring this screen back over here. Oh, what is going on here? Make this full screen. Now make this half screen. Make this. Okay, I don't know why it's smushed like that, but I can work with it. Y'all still with me? Yes. Okay, so let's look at SoundHound. Let's look at the charts. Let's see, 1 month down 5%, 3 months down 42, 41.5. Since January, well, we only had a few days of January. And in 1 year is down 46%. Now it was up here in October and then it had a dramatic fallback. Now, I don't know, but you know what? What I'll do is I'll do some research on this one. I fell off of tracking this one as much. I'm still invested in it, as you can tell. And I'm just over breaking. I'm not that great, but I'm still good because I bought it super low. I was buying it when it was like $2. However, I do know they had, yeah, good. So the thing with SoundHound AI, I do know the last earnings call I had covered, they were talking about earnings or new contracts they had with businesses. And I know 2 earnings calls ago, I drew the tree, the trunk above the ground, the dirt, and I showed the roots, the automotive industry, the restaurant industry, the all the other stuff they were doing. Let me check the last earnings call, and I will get back to you on news on why they might have fallen down, because sometimes people dump shares. And remember, the market last year was way the heck up. People saw returns that are just not normal. The average is 10% a year, right? Because that's what the average, the S&P 500 gets. But people are seeing returns. I mean, heck, if we check the S&P 500 SPY, I mean, SPY might have been up 50%. But that's not normal at all. SPY is up for a month. It's up for 3 months, year to date. So in 1 year, 16%. Usually it's around 10. It's anywhere from like 8 to 12%. It'll average out to 10%. So SPY in the past year was up 16%. The market saw a dramatic uptick. And remember, right here in April, tariffs, this actually kicked off a lot of the earnings for the year because people lost a lot of money right here. And if they were smart, they bought right here. And then it took off from there. So the market for the last 2 years has been up and away. So now if it's coming down, remember, it has to come back down. It is rigged to stay up, but the market's going to have down years. It's going to have up years. It's going to have flat years. And part of it might just be the market returning to normal, because there was a lot of helium in that balloon last year. We saw gains that were unprecedented. And obviously you can make good moves in that. There are people last year who probably lost money. How you did that is really, I would say, I don't know, but I do know because they probably sold right here and bought right here because the news say it's booming. The news says it's booming. You should buy it. They probably listened to them, and that's probably what happened. So that's the number one way people lose money. But we'll talk about it next week. I'll put it on the agenda for next week. All right. I don't remember the last thing I was going to say, but it's probably not important. I could probably make a short about it or something like that. But thank y'all for rocking out with me this week. I said I would end on a high note. Let's see if there's another one. I'm Blue Abadi Abadai. Let's look at one. Which one should we pick, chat? Which one? Cheetah right here. This stuff is crazy. Y'all see what y'all like? We done seen enough of the blue. I was trying to look for a compilation, but we're just gonna pick one. All right. Oh, this is too funny. Look, grills. Let's pick grills right here. Bear Grylls.
Hello.
Why your teeth so big?
Ooh. Are you kidding me? This is assault on a bride. I'm calling the cops and my lawyer and my daddy. Hey, besties. Oh my God.
Oh, was that set up?
Hello?
Y'all think that was set up?
Are you kidding me?
She did it twice?
This is assault on a bride. I'm calling the cops and my lawyer and my daddy.
I don't think that was set up. All right, one more. All right, I'm done. I can't even say that. All right, folks. The board is going cold. All right, folks. I will see y'all next week. Same bad time, same back place. And remember, invite somebody. This is a new year. Let's get some more financial literacy out there. I'm changing up the show so it's a little more entertaining for everybody too. But listen, we're going to stay on the education piece. I just want to flex up so that it's not so educational because I've been told, man, it's a lot of information, but man, it's just a lot of information. And you know what that is? It's a lack of stimulation. People are used to doom scrolling. And what do they see when they doom scroll? 10 seconds of ha, 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 right? And that'll make them go another 10 minutes, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change up the show. If y'all have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, throw it in the comments there. If you have something else that you would like to do, like a collaboration or something like that, hit me at theblacksmithpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, I'm the Blacksmith Podcast on every social media outlet you can probably think of. If you can think of one that I did, excuse me. If you can think of one that I don't have, hit me up and let me know about it. That chick ran off. That is so crazy. I'm probably going to watch some of this when it is. All right, folks. Love y'all. Happy New Year. And y'all have a great weekend. Goodbye.